Others will probably be here.
Shalom.
Yeah, well, we thank you. We give you all praise today for Yom Nihad Shabbat. You told us to guard it, set it apart as holy, Kadosh YAH, as you commanded us, telling us to remember that we've existed as slaves in the land of Mizraim. And she wanted us not to work, not to cause anyone that is underneath our care to work, so that they would receive the rest that we do. And we thank you today for this day. You've given us 6 days to do the work that we need to do, and today is the Shabbat, Yahweh. As you have worked for 6 days and rested upon the seventh, and so do we. We are your people, Yahweh. You have given the Shabbat to us as a sign, a perpetual sign, to let us know that you are our Elohim. And we give you praise. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Welcome, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I think today won't be that long of a lesson, but who knows? I don't know. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you. We do have some information to go over, quite a bit, but not too much. Let's see here. Close this out. Praise Yah. Cahoots Yah believes. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Praise the mighty Yah. All right. So this week's Torah portion had to do with this word called YAH. Does anyone know what that word means? Did you look it up?
And he dwelt.
Yes. It means to dwell. There's other meanings as well. Okay. So let's talk about that right quick. So number one is to dwell. Okay. You can do that by sitting. Okay. Take a seat, to sit. And also means to remain. Okay. Because you're dwelling there. Okay. So you're sitting, you're dwelling, and you're remaining in a certain place, or you're in a certain circumstance, or you're at some type of, I would say, place in your life. So, depends on what the location is, right? So we're going to talk about that today, right? It's very important. The wa right here is talking about and, okay? And he dwelt, or he sat, or he remained in this location. And so we're talking about Yitzchak, Yaakov. We're talking about Yaakov. But also, too, within the Torah portion, what you're going to find is, especially if you delve into the language, you'll find that this word Yeshev was used in several different times. Okay. It wasn't just meant for Jacob, or what they call Yaakov. It was also meant for those who were dwelling in different parts of the lands as well, or different circumstances in their life, which they were at. Okay. And so we get a sense, and also too, where Yosef had dwelt, right? And so when you put these ideas together, there's a message. There's several messages within this Torah portion. But one of the things I want to focus on is this idea about putting your trust in Yahweh. That's what I want to focus on. The scripture tells us that we should put our trust in Yahweh with all of our heart. And we should not rely upon our own understanding, right? And you can see this in our Torah portion. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he will level your paths. The key here is to understand that whatever situation that you're in, you need to have an awareness about Yah, okay? And that's what we're talking about. You have the 12, well, not 12, is actually 10 of the brothers? Did they love Joseph?
No.
No, they hated him. They turned away from him. Okay. They hated him so much that they wanted to what?
Kill him.
They wanted to kill him. So this is what's inside of the sons of Jacob. Interesting, right? They come from a family of a man who has made an altar to the Most High. He's told them to get rid of your gods and so forth and so on. They've had some different experiences. Yah has been guarding and protecting them. And now they've come to a place where they're dwelling, where now they want to kill him. Okay. And they're going to kill him because he's having some dreams, because the Most High gave him a gift. Okay. Also, too, we see that his brothers hated him, but also we had some other part of the story when we talk about Yehuda. Somebody tell me about Yehuda. What did he do?
He slept with his daughter-in-law unknowingly.
Yeah, he slept. He slept with his daughter-in-law. Put it wrong. He had intercourse with his daughter-in-law unknowingly. But there's something else that he did prior to sleeping with his daughter-in-law. You guys remember what he did? What caused him to go sleep with his daughter-in-law? Why did she put herself in that position?
He told her that he was going to promise his son Sheila to her, and he did not do that.
He made a promise. So what he gave was, he gave his word, and he didn't keep it. Okay. The brothers up here, they hated what Joseph was saying because of his dreams. So they're hating his words. Okay. That's what makes them want to kill him, is the words that are coming out of his mouth. Okay. Yehuda makes a promise to his daughter-in-law, right? Because her two previous husbands were killed by Yah. And why were they killed?
First one, God didn't like, Yahweh just didn't like him. And the other one, he ended up killing because he wasted his seed.
Yes. So that's correct. So one of the things too that we don't hear about right? Means to awake. Okay. And that's what his name means. And his brother is Onan, and Onan means to have vigor. Okay. He has strength. So and these two right here are the two sons of Yehuda, and their mother was a Canaanite. Okay. In the Hebrew scriptures, it outlines why the Most High didn't like because did the same exact thing that Onan did. He spilled the seed on the ground, and Yah killed him. And his brother turned around and did the same identical thing. Why? Because they hated Tamar. They didn't want to have a child with her. And that was because their father is the one who picked Tamar. Okay. There's writings to talk about how Tamar was not a Canaanite. She was actually from some other land. Okay. And what does her name mean, if you guys remember from my previous lessons? Her name means to be righteous or upright. And she gets this name because of her stature, right? Because she's a palm tree. Okay. And it means to be straight, and it means to be tall. Okay. It means to be upright, and upright has to do with the idea of being righteous. Okay. So she had a different disposition about herself, and they didn't like her. So when it came down to the most Yehuda giving his son, the last one, which is Shelah, Shelah to Tamar, he reneged on the promise. And actually, Shelah was born in a place called, I forgot the Hebrew name, but the place that he was born is called Eli. So we see that Yehuda has some issues too, right? So he has some issues. The other sons have issues. Reuben, we know, had issues. We're seeing all these family members with these issues. Okay. We see that Tamar has some challenges, and I don't want to spend too much time on her or these other people because we've got to get to Joseph. Okay. So now our next Torah cycle, I'll break that out. I did something different this year. I was like, you know what? We've already been through this Torah cycle before. And I think one of the mistakes that we make is we try to get everything at one time, when we need to focus on one thing at a time. You know, it's not on how much we do, but how we do it. It's not based on the quantity of information, but it's based upon the quality, right? So what we're looking for is the quality. So what I'm finding in our Torah portion is that there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of deceit, there's all these things. And the reason why this is happening, everyone, is because this is just what human beings are. That's what they are. Human beings are not perfect. Human beings, whether they're from a family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, does not mean that they're going to be automatically built in righteousness, right? They're not going to be like that. We see that Tamar was righteous just based on her behavior. She was more righteous than Yehuda, and he said it. See? So this is a stranger who's not from Israel who had more righteousness than he did. Okay. So is it possible for a person to obtain righteousness? Yes, it is. But what's the difference between the standard righteousness versus the righteousness of the Most High? Right? That's the question. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper. So it's talking about, when Yah talks about trusting in him and with all, if everything that you are, that means all of your mind and your faculties. I'm asking for your ideas. I'm asking for you not to, try to figure this out on your own, because I know that you're nothing but dust. I know that your life is nothing but grass. I know that you have a propensity for wanting to always shy away from that which causes pain to you. And this is the reason why Yah is asking us to acknowledge him. And if we do this, he says, I will make your paths level, meaning I will make them righteous. I will make them straight for you. Level is always about plumb and square. You know, like when you're building something, you want it to be straight, you want it to be level, you want it to be plumb, and you want it to be square. You don't want it to be abstract. You want it to be exact. And I think this idea of having to go through those challenges it presents maybe some fear for us, because we have to make sure that we have to do some things that we've never done before. Okay. One of the things that I found in our Torah portion through reading through the Psalms is this idea about giving you some additional information about what was not mentioned in Genesis chapter number 37, 38, or 39, or 40. This was in the book of Psalms, and Psalms 105. You can read it for your reading later. But it says to give thanks to Yahweh and call on his name and make his deeds known among the peoples. Sing to him and sing praises to him and talk about all his wonders. When I read that earlier this week, I didn't think too much about it, except for, hey, we should praise Yah. We should praise Yah. We should give praise to Yah, like the birds do, how they sing in the morning. And we should give praise to Yah. We should be like, the tribe of Judah, singing to Yah. Yay! But you and I can't sing to Yah if we're not walking in righteousness. In the story of Yehuda and Tamar means righteous and upright, and Judah means praise. What we find is that righteousness exceeds praise. Yah would rather for us to live a right life, right? Put your device on mute. Thank you. Yah would rather for us to walk in an upright way, rather to say things to him about how we feel. He rather to see us to be righteous, right? And so when I read this, I thought, well, of course, we all know to do this. And we know about the deeds that Yah has done, right? Right? It says, make his deeds known. So I said, well, let me look into that and see what it is about his deeds. They gave a list of all the things that he did, in terms of making creation and making the ocean and making the mountains and the clouds and the birds, giving, his creation a place to live and giving them food to eat and having different seasons and whatnot. And all the magnificence of his work and all the great power and majesty behind it. So I looked it up in that word. Of course, for work is not all, but it is the root of the word, right? I don't want to give you too many Hebrew words. I want to talk to you about the roots of things. I want you to understand what's the foundation of work, So, work is has to do with this idea about Yah putting a yoke on something. It has to do with doing work. It has to do with pressure. It has to do with a task. It has to do with something that's necessary in order to bring about something, right? So the works in which Yah has done have purpose behind it. Everything that he does has meaning and has significance. So the first letter of that word all, because that's how you say it, go back here again, is all. Okay, just like you would say, A-L-L or A-L. Okay. Of course, this is not an A right here. This is not an A. This is called an IN. We're going to get to that. Okay. So, but the sound, the name of the word is called all, and it means a yoke, and it means work. And it also has some grammatical meanings, right? That has to do with upon, okay, or above, or on, okay. Pen's tripping. On, okay. On, to put something on something, put something above something, to lift something up, okay. And what you do and how you can remember this is when you talk about a yoke, right? Before you begin the work, you got to lift this up. You got to lift that yoke up to put it upon the ox, okay? Or above its shoulders, okay? Or on its neck, okay? And you got to lift it up, right? So work in its Hebraic understanding has to do with a yoke, okay? That has to be lifted in order to something to do the work. And generally it's attached to an animal that has the strength to do it, okay? So the yoke is put on someone that is, and every yoke can be a little bit different, right? So you wouldn't put too heavy a yoke on an animal that wasn't able to bear it. So the yoke has to be appropriate for the animal and for the job and for the task that's at hand, okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. The first letter of that word all is called an ayin, okay? And the ayin, right? Ayin, some people say ayin or ayin, that's the proper name, ayin. You hear the I in it, right? Which that is the actual meaning of the letter ayin. It's ayin, okay? So that letter right there is an I. And what does this have to do with work? Okay, we'll see. It means to see, right? Because that's the function of the eye. Use the eye to see. Use the eye to be aware and to pay attention, right? So the ox has eyes, right, to show them the direction they need to go. They have their eyes. Their eyes are not forward. Their heads are down, right? They're looking down. And they're waiting and depending upon the one who's driving the ox to the one who's looking straight forward, okay? So in this case, the Most High tells us that we're like an ox to him, right? And what he's saying is, like we open up our teaching, it says, trust in Yahweh with all your heart and lean not to thy own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge him and he shall level or direct your path. So he's talking about leading us down this path. And we have to trust him while we're on this path, okay? So we don't get to look around like an ox. An ox doesn't get a chance to keep looking to the right or to the left. This is what the Most High says, don't when I give you my words, don't turn to the right, don't turn to the left. Always look straight down to where your work is, okay? So that means that you have to stay focused and you have to allow the one who is in charge of directing the ox to let them do the seeing because they know better than the ox. You see, if the ox knows more than the one that's leading it, there's no reason for the ox to be led by the individual that's leading it. The Most High is saying, I'm the one who's driving you. I need you to stay focused. I need you to keep your eyes open and look down at the work that you need to do. I don't need you to look at the destination. I'm leading you to your destination. I don't need you to do that, okay? The second letter that's part of our word all is in Hebrew called a lamed. Okay, and we've heard about this letter before. We have our ideas behind it. It's a staff, that's being used to lead and to guide and to prod and to poke and to correct and to chasten and to teach and so forth. And so, which represents this idea of authority, right? So the one who's leading us is the one that's saying, I'm the one guiding you. I'm the one teaching you. I'm the one who's put this yoke upon your neck. I'm the authority. I have authority over you. I'll lead you where I want to lead you. All your job is to bear the yoke that I put on your neck so I can guide you to the destination. Not your destination, is to the destination that I chose for you to go. Your destination might be 1,000 feet. It might not be. It might be 500. What do you care? Your job is to keep your head down, stay focused, and allow me to drive you where I'm going to drive you, because I'm the one guiding you. I'm the authority. I am the all. And I need you to see that authority. That's what the Most High is telling us. See? So I want you to see my authority. That's what all means. I want you to see that I'm the one who put this yoke on your neck. I want you to see the one who is the one who's causing you to bear the burden. I want you to see that. Okay? And so when Yah deals with us, like he's dealing in this Torah portion while you shave, it says in the book of Psalms 105, where he says he called down famine on the land and broke off all the food supply, but he sent a man ahead of him, right? So again, this is about Yah doing something, right? Yah is the one who's doing this. Yah is the one who's doing the sending, okay? The man did not send himself. Yah sent him, okay? Who is the man that Yah sent? If there's a famine in the land, who did Yah send in the land before they got to the land? According to your Torah portion, who did Yah send to Egypt? Because this is talking about the land of Egypt, okay? That Yah broke off all food supply and he sent a man ahead of them. What man did he send? Who did he sent Yosef. He sent Yosef to dwell in that land prior to his family getting there. The them here is talking about the children of Israel. It's talking about the family of Yaakov. The man that Yah decided to send was Yosef. Yes. So Yah is using the circumstances of the hate, the murder, want to kill you, the jealousy, all these things. When they're acting this way, Yah says, I'm still going to send somebody ahead of them. I know they want to kill him. I know that they hate him. I know that they're jealous of him. I know that they're jealous that he has a gift. I know that they're jealous of the coat that his father made. I know they're jealous that their father loves him more than all the rest of them. You see? So it was Joseph who was sold as a slave. And by the way, his brothers said, well, let's sell him instead of kill him, right? That's what Yehuda said, right? They didn't sell him. You look at that text carefully. The Midianites sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites, okay? So they didn't even get a chance to sell him. He was already taken out of the hole and sold before when they came back. They put themselves at a different distance in Yashav, and they sat there and dwelt and remained a distance away from him while he was crying. And they didn't want to hear him crying, so they went far away and they dwelt Yashav in a different place, far enough so they didn't have to hear him. And they ate their food and had a meal and was laughing and having a great time. You see? Yosef's name means to increase. Yosef means to increase, to add, to gather. What's interesting about his name is that the first letter in his name is this Yod right here. And the Yod spelled Y-O-D. Okay. Sometimes you might hear someone call it a Yud. Still same thing. They just got two different vowels. That's it. But there's still a Y, it's still a D. It's still a Y, it's still a D. Okay. So in that letter or word actually means a hand. They get it from Yod. And a Yod means a hand. Okay. And so the hand is the part of the body that the Yod represents. Okay. And the hand belongs to a man or a female, but they still call it he. Okay. So you'll often see this letter attached to someone's name. Okay. The word for increase and add and gather is called safe. Okay. That's what it's called, safe. Okay. You might SAA for SEF. Don't get caught up on the vowels because there's different pronunciations. Okay. So these two letters right here is the increase and the adding and the gathering. But what is the Yod? Well, the Yod is the one who's doing it, right? So the Yod is the one who's doing it. So when we see this Yod in someone's name, yes, it means he, but you got to remember who the he is always going to be. The he is always going to be Yod He Wahe. Yahweh is the one who gives the increase. Yahweh is the one who adds. Yahweh is the one who gathers. One of the things that we need to understand is we have to stop taking credit for Yah's work. We have to stop looking at men and women as the source of all good things, because they're not. We're not. You would not be able to do the things that you do without Yah putting his hand on you. You would not have the food that you had this morning to eat in your stomach if Yah had not provided the grass needed to produce the wheat. It wasn't the store that made it. It wasn't the manufacturer. It was Yah's blessing. It was his mercy and his compassion towards his creation. So when you look at Yosef, he's the first letter, Yod, is representing Yah. It means he gives the increase. And it was given testimony because that's what his mother named him, because she said, let him add another son to me. That's what his mother Raquel said. But there's another meaning about his name that we don't even think about. Then Elohim took note of Raquel and heeded her prayer and made her fertile. She conceived and had a son and said, Elohim has taken away my disgrace. What's associated with his name is disgrace. You see? So when he got sold as a slave, he went to prison. He got accused of doing some heinous crime of wanting to sleep with his master's wife. He had to bear that, and he bore it in a way that was disgraceful. And often, and even in the text, it says that he said, I ain't did nothing wrong. I ain't did anything wrong. And that's, I think, where the problem is because we really believe in some way or another, even if we are innocent, that because bad stuff shouldn't happen to us. We feel like we shouldn't be able to be disgraced, when we need to understand that if anybody's going to have the disgrace, is because the one who is giving the disgrace is the Yod of Yod He Wahe. If anyone is put down, it's because of this hand of Yahweh. If the reason why she didn't have a child is because Yahweh's hand was not on her for that. But it's only when Elohim took note of her and he listened to her that he turned or gave her something that she thought was an impossibility. It's all by Yah's hand. It wasn't from the act of Yaakov going and being her husband and going into her. He's been doing that for years. You see? So she had some disgrace there, and it was represented, and it was a forecast about what this in particular son was going to be. With this son, Yosef he's going to take away the disgrace. Yah is going to use his gift and his talents and all that he is to take away the disgrace of the house of Yaakov. to take away the disgrace of the sons of Yaakov, to take that away from them, to take it away from their wives and their children. You see? So he's the one that Yah has chosen to do this. So there's messages within the Torah if we take the time just to open up and listen to what Yahweh is saying. Yahweh was with Yosef. He was. And he became wealthy while he was in the household of his master, the Egyptian. When I read this, I said, wow, he actually increased his wealth. He became wealthy. And then I said, no, Akika, you have to remember that he has a master, and that anything that his master had, he was just a beneficiary of it. And go look and find out, what does that word wealthy mean? What does it really mean? Does it mean that he had a great job? No, he was a slave. What does it mean? Does it mean that he had a whole bunch of gold and silver and he had assets? No. What does it mean? Nothing belonged to him. When you're a servant, nothing belongs to you. It belongs to the master, the one who's given you the power to do what he asked you to do. This is a forecast about when Yah is with us, like he was with him. In his slavery, he was with him. And Yah made him wealthy. Well, what are you talking about? He made him like what you would call in the Hebrew a bowl. Okay, a bowl. And this is, see, these are Hebraic ideas that we're never taught about. When I say a bowl, you're thinking a bowl of cereal. Okay, what it's talking about is that when you talk about wealth, right, we're talking about there has to be a bowl, right? And this bowl has it has capacity. Okay, it has a capacity to be filled up. And so what we see right here is that this bowl began to, when he came in, it was probably right here. And then when he began to do the work that he wanted him to do, the master noticed that everything started getting more and more and more from what it was before. That means the productivity changed. It means capacity was being filled. Tasks were being completed. Things were getting done. Responsibilities were being taken care of. And he just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And what's going on is that there is what they would call a filling up of things. And so it just kept going and going and going. See, so the idea behind us of understanding, like, we have a master. Our master is Yahweh. And what Yah is looking for us is to be like Yosef. He's looking for us to feel the capacity. He's looking for us to fill the bowl. He's looking for us to add and to increase things in our lives. He's looking for us to be the ones where things come to a completion. So once it's complete, one can be satisfied. See, when you're empty, there's no satisfaction. When you're full, you can be satisfied. As the Most High said, when you get into the land that I'm going to give to you, you're going to become satisfied. And you have to be careful, though, once you become satisfied, because your heart might get lifted up and you might think it's by my own power and by the might of my own hand that I have brought this wealth upon me. And you have forgotten the Most High YAH, the one who is the hand of all hands that causes everything to happen. It's his hand. It's Yah being with you that causes the bowl to be filled. It's Yah's hand that takes something empty and bring it to its capacity. So what are we talking about? We're talking about advancement. And we're talking about real progress. We're talking about, in spite of our circumstances, in spite of our location, in spite of all the things and the challenges that we face, we're still pushing and rushing forward. We're still filling the bowl up, and the sides are just still rising because there's still progress. So our bowl is not empty. Our bowl is not stagnant. Our bowl doesn't have a hole in it. We don't look at it and don't try to fill it up. We're always trying to go to the capacity in which we have the ability to do. We're not being lazy when it comes to doing the work. Whatever task is in front of us, the one that we've been given is the one that you and I should look forward to have progress in. Yahweh was with Joseph. He was showing grace and giving him favor in the sight of the prison warden. So he not only had favor and he was, productive prior to the incident where he got falsely accused of something. Now he's in prison. And the prison warden made Yosef supervisor of all the prisoners in the prison so that whatever they did there, he was in charge of it. Why? Because even the prison warden recognized, just like his master at one time did too. You see? And so Yahweh was with him. Case in point, Yahweh will be with us whether you are in a bad location or whether you're in a good one. This word, YAH, is what this word is. And I need to tell you what this means. YAH. Okay? So Yahweh was YAH with Yosef. How do we know that Yahweh was YAH? We know that Yahweh was YAH because Yah was with the one who had a yod in his name. When it talks about Yah being with you, it's talking about Yah's hand is moving you in ways. You're available to be moved by Yah. You made yourself accessible to Yah. Therefore, Yah is with you. That word is YAH. YAH. So YAH here, I'm going to teach you about transliteration. Okay, not translation, transliteration. Okay, so what that means, translation means I'm going to give you a definition of the word. Here, I'm not dealing with definitions. I'm just dealing with letters. I'm talking about the literation of it. I'm talking about how I can change a Hebrew consonant into an English consonant. Okay. I can change a yod to a Y in English. Okay. I can change this hey right here into an H in English. That's what transliteration is. Okay. So if you know the English, all you have to do is practice what letters in the Hebrew go with what letters in the English. So I would recommend you to do this. Okay. Depends on how your schedule is, depends on your capacity. It depends on how much you want to know. How much of that bowl do you want to fill? Okay. I want you to take between 2 to 3 letters a day, or not a day. I'm being a little aggressive. Take 2 to 3 letters a week. Okay. So what I want you to do, 2 to 3 letters a week of the Hebrew alphabet. I want you to associate the Hebrew letter, right, with an English letter. And I want you to be able to recognize the Hebrew letter just by looking at it and be able to transliterate it into an English letter. So, for example, I would say this is a letter shin, right? And I know in English it's equivalent to an SH. And take 2 or 3 of these letters a week and just focus on that. You don't have to get everything at one time. Remember, it's not about the quantity. It's literally about the quality. So there's your word YAH, okay? YAH. So YAH means something, right? So letters mean something in Hebrew, okay? What YAH means, or YAH, means to become. It means existence. Okay. So when we found that it said that Yahweh was with Yosef, it says that Yahweh was the existence of Yosef. Yahweh was there. He's existence. The reason why Yosef became what he became is because Yahweh was with him. He existed this way because Yahweh was with him. YAH means to become. Okay, it means to exist. Okay, YAH. We find this word I don't have a slide for it, but the word Haya is mentioned in Genesis chapter number 1. Okay. I wrote it down here. It's mentioned 27 times out of 31 verses. 87%. This word is used 87%. 87% in Genesis chapter number 1. 87% of that chapter and that part of the scroll, this word Haya is used. It means to become or to exist. Okay. So then I said in my Torah portion this week, I was like, well, wait a minute. Because I kept hearing it. When I was reading, I was like, I keep hearing Haya. You see this word was, it was like, that's Haya. So I looked in the Torah portion, and out of the 23 verses, it was used 17 times, which is 74%, almost between 74 and 75%. So it was the frequency it was used was very high. That's a high frequency for this in particular word to be used in only one chapter, chapter number 39 of Genesis, which has to do with Yosef. So the same word that's being used in Genesis chapter number 1, 87% of the time for creation is used in chapter number 39 for Yosef over 74%, which is that's pretty high. So then I asked myself, okay, what does this mean? Why would Yah use Haya 74% of the time? Well, it opens up your mind to understand that what Yahweh is saying to us is that everything that it was happening to Yosef was because Yah is the one who caused it to become. Yah is the existence of that situation. Yah is behind it. So I looked, and of course, I know where the Most High uses this as part of his introduction to the children of Israel. It says, Elohim said to Moshe, and this is in the book of Exodus, chapter number 3, verse number 14, 15, I think, 14 to 15 of Exodus, or what they call Shemot. I'm just using English just for those who don't know what it means. So the I keep spelling so wrong. The Exodus, the Exodus is Shemot, okay? And it's talking about, Yah introduces himself to the children of Israel by saying to Moshe, Eye asher Eye, continuing, thus shall you say to the Israelites, Eye sent me to you. Eye sent me to you. So what I did was I went and transliterated those letters. And of course, we know that's a hey. Come on, internet. A hey, a yod, and a hey. Right here in both of these things right here. So Yah is saying that, and of course, these are verbs, by the way. This is not actually his name. And that's where a lot of people get it twisted. If you notice, a lot of Hebrew Israelites, those camps are out here and call him, his name is Ahiah. No, that's not his name. That's not his name. Yah is telling you through Moshe what he's going to do. Okay, so a verb is an action. So when he says, Eye asher Eye, he's literally saying, I will become what I will become. Whatever I need to become, I will become. Okay, I will become that. And we see that right here in the Hebrew text. Okay, this is Vayomer Elohim the El Moshe Eye. That again, there's our root here of the Haya. Okay, going to the hey, and then the next one's a yod, and then the next one's a hey. It's all there, the 3 letters. And this aleph right here means I will. Again, remember from our last lesson, I will. Anytime you see an aleph on front of something, it's I will. Okay, so the I will right there is Yah saying that, in that singular, by the way, that I will be. I am. I will be what I will be. Okay, and you need to tell them this, that, hey, Yahweh is the one, the one who has the existence in his hand, is the one who's sending me to you. Okay, so that's what means, but comes from Haya. Okay, So let's continue to talk about Haya, because Haya is the existence of what the situation is, since it was mentioned 74% of the time in this chapter, right? In 105 of Psalms, we get some insight about what Joseph's experience was that we don't get in chapter number 39 or chapter number 40, right, of Genesis. Still in 105 in Psalms, he says, they shackled his feet with chains. They bound him in irons until the time when his word proved true. Elohim's utterance kept testing him. In our account, we just find that they just took him, right? And they put him and they brought him and they sold him. They don't tell us about the chains and the irons. So when he was in prison, even though he was free to express his gifts, he was still in chains. You see? So even if you think that you're free, you're not. You're still in chains. You're still in irons. That was the situation. He wasn't walking around like all the other prisoners were chained up and everything, and he wasn't chained. He was chained up. Do you understand? He had chains on him. He had fetters on him. He had things around him that indicated like you're not just any regular servant. You are literally a prisoner. Okay? Going to the idea behind what his brothers were afraid of. His brothers were afraid of him binding them to the dream. Okay, so prison has to do with binding someone, right? Remember the dream he had? He said, oh, he bind the sheaves and you guys, sheaves fell in front of me. Oh, well, now you're going to be our master. They were afraid, like if his word comes true, we're bound by what he said, which are the words. So they don't want to be bound by these words because it meant that they would be a servant to their brother. And they didn't want that. They don't want that because they're like, well, we don't deserve to not be our father's favor. We're gonna do everything we possibly can to make sure that these words never come to pass. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kill him. We're gonna kill the vision. We're gonna kill progress. That's what our intentions are, right? And so he himself ended up being in a situation where he was bound. See? So Yosef did not escape what his brothers were afraid of. He actually had to go and experience it for them first. See? Hear me? Now, it says that he was bound this way until his word proved true, meaning his word was his dream that he had. And it says Elohim's utterance kept testing him. And I said, okay, so what does this mean? You know, what do you mean his words kept testing him? His utterance is Yah's word. We're talking about Yah's refinement. This is the reason why I have this picture here, right? What you can see is a crucible, and what you see is metals. I don't know what type of metal is, but a crucible is used where you would put a whole bunch of metal or whatever you want to put inside of it. Let me outline it right quick for you. This thing right here, you would put, and remember, it's like a bowl. And you would fill this up with gold, silver, or any other metal that you wanted, iron or whatever it is. Okay, any type of precious metals or whatnot, copper, right, is used in order to what they call smelt. That means I'm going to go through a process of refinement. So I tripped out when I saw this in Psalms. I was like, whoa, you're talking about testing him. What he's talking about is going through a process of refinement. So Yah put him there in order to make him refined, in order to purify him. Okay, so once this crucible is filled with whatever it needs to go through, is put under an extreme amount of heat, and no one can pick it up except for the one who has what they would call these tongs that they use, that they put on the sides right here to do it, and then they pour it out like you see into whatever they want to put it into, whatever frame they want. So if they want it to be a hammer, it'll come out to a hammer. If they want it to be, you know, a bar, it would be a bar, you see. So the idea behind this is for purification process, but also to form something the way that you want it. Okay, so Most High is talking about forming. So your refinement process has a purpose. Okay, so Yah's purpose of sending Yosef into exile or literally slavery is to bring about a refinement process. And that word right there for refinement is called saraf. Okay. Saraf. Saraf. Sa, like like you would do on a drum, that you hear in a snare, sa, or at the end of a word called rats, or a cats. That's this letter right here. Okay. This word saraf has to do with the word called saraf. And saraf are what they would call the seraphim. And the seraphim are the fiery ones that's in the Most High's presence. Okay. So they're cognates, they're related. Okay. So saraf means to refine or to test. Okay. So this is the reason why I put him here. Yah's utterance. Yah is the one who spoke the word, because the utterance from Yah is Yahweh's word. His utterance, his words. So just like the brothers were afraid of the words of Yosef, they don't understand that it was Yahweh who put those words in his mouth, because he's the self-existing one. The words that he was speaking was not his own. It was Yah's words. Yah gave him a gift to interpret, right? But he didn't know how to use his gift when he was talking to his brothers. He was just talking. Just say, hey, you guys want to hear my dream? You guys want to hear my dream? You want to hear my dream? It's not until he got into prison that he was able to exercise the gift and begin to understand it. Okay. And then we'll find out next week that at one point, he finally discovers the purpose of his gift, right? So here, the Most High says, I'm testing him by what I say. I'm going to put him in the fire. I'm going to put him in the smelter, and I'm going to put him in the crucible. I'm going to smelt him. So why would Yah want to smelt Yosef? Why would he throw him in there? Why would he throw this 17-year-old boy inside the man that he chose to send ahead of the children is? Why is he smelting him? Because the Most High is looking for refinement from all of us. He's looking, and then you look in the Torah portion, you look at refinement. Everybody's lives are about to change. Yaakov's life changed. His son disappeared. He thought he was dead. His life changed. He grieved. There's some writings that talk about how his Bilhah died. There's some writings that talk about how Dinah died. There's all these people are dying around him. His son is gone. His life changed. He's mourning. Yehuda leaves, right? Because whatever, his father's mourning so bad, he probably can't take it. He goes on his way and he marries a Canaanite, which they know in Israel that you shouldn't be doing. But of course, why not? Simeon married a Canaanite. These other people married Canaanites. You see? So all this is coming about. Life is changing because Yah is putting everybody in the process. And that makes it interesting because you and I are no different than anybody that we're reading about. It's not only we're from this family that's important, but it's also too to understand that Yah is going to try humanity. The people who get the fire first is us. That's the one who gets it first, you and I. So he's testing. He's going through a process of refining because the word saraf or tzaraf has to do with being a goldsmith. It's someone who understands how this metal works. Okay, it's not only for gold, but it's for silver, it's for any other precious metal. Yahweh is this goldsmith. And you and I have never been told that Yah's word means that I will put you into the crucible. You see the hot lava? You think it's lava? That's metal. I need to send you here so I can get the refinement, so I can get the things that I'm looking for out of your life, so I can purify you. There was things about Yosef that needed to be purified, that needed to be brought out about him. He was immature. He was a snitch. As he was, he'd come and tattletelling on his brothers. You see? But Yah used all that in order to frame and to shape his life. You understand? And Yah, even in the children of Israel, Jacob, his sons, they needed to be purified. And they're going to. Everyone is going to go through this process, especially if Yah is your master. Okay? The words of Yahweh are pure. They're pure words. Silver in a melting pot set in the earth. refined and purified 7 times over. So the words of how are we going through this refinement process? How are we being purified? According to what we're reading here is Yah's words, is what Yah speaks. And it's not the words, listen to me carefully. It is not only the words that you're reading in a book. It's the words that the Almighty Yah is speaking on your life. There's words that you have never even heard that are written down in front of Yah that says that this is what has to happen for this individual. All of our experiences are going to be different. Just like Yehuda's experience was different, Simeon's experience is different, Yosef's experience is different, Yaakov's experience is different, Bilhah's experience was different. Everybody is unique. But one thing that you and I can know for sure is that Yah's words are pure. Before they're even written down, they are purified 7 times over. You better hear what he's telling us today. There's words that Yah has written about your life that's in a book that has to happen. You think you're in the location you're at because that's where you decided that you want to go? No. You're there because it has been written. You think you're on Zoom today because you have nothing better else to do? No. It's been written. Yah's words are the ones that are changing and transforming our lives. You're being refined, not by just the words that were written by men, by the words of the living Elohim. Why? Because you and I are a people that are set apart as Kadosh. To be Kadosh is to be set apart for something. We thought that Yah was just going to take us out of a group of people and say, okay, I'll set you to the side, and you guys are just these people now. You can still be as bad as you want to be. You can still be liars and thieves and whores. You can still be disrespectful. You can still be a cheater. You can still do all that you want to do. And you think that that is going to be the case with me, and you're wrong. If you're my people, which you are, I'm going to put you through the fire. I'm going to purify you, and I'm going to set you right. I'm going to refine you to bring you to a place where you're acceptable to me. If my words are purified 7 times, don't you know that you have to be purified? Don't you know whatever I said is going to happen? Don't you know that your existence right now is that Yah has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be, to Hayah, his own unique treasure? Do you not know that you are a segula to me? What is a segula, Akika? It's something that's precious. You don't become precious because you have a whole bunch of filth and disgusting stuff on your life. You're not precious to me because I just accepted you as you are. You have to go through the refinement process. Anything that I have is this my possession will go through a process of being refined and being purified and being put in the fire in order for you to become a treasure to me. My treasures are my possessions. When I chose Israel, I chose him as a treasure because you're highly valued. Yosef was highly valued to the Most High, not only to his father, but to the Most High. Why? Because he wanted to use him. He sent a man to Mizraim prior to the famine so he can bring the children of Israel into Egypt to prepare them for their slavery, to prepare to bring them out later. He's highly valued. The people that are highly valued are the people that are going to go through the fire. This is how you and I were supposed to exist. Yah tells us in his proposal to us as his people Exodus chapter number 19, verse number 5 and 6. Now, if you pay careful attention to what I say, and you keep my covenant, then you will hire. You will exist as my own treasure from among all the peoples. You're going through the fire. For all the earth is mine, and you will be a kingdom of Kohanim for me, as a set apart nation, as Kadosh. Everything that Yah has ever touched has to be hit with fire. Oh, praise be to the mighty God. Now, if you will pay attention to what I say, what I say, if you would value what I'm telling you, right? And you would guard what I say and protect what I said, which are the 10 words that I told you and your ancestors, that's going to be a perpetual covenant for everlasting, then you'll be my own special treasure. You'll be my own segula. But you don't want to be. You want to be like everybody else. You want to downplay what I said. You want to bring value to what other people are talking about. We need to listen to what Yah was talking about. The Psalm said this. Excuse me, not the Psalm. Listen what Yosef said. Just listen carefully to what he said in the Torah portion. He says, but remember me when it goes well with you. This is after he gave the interpretation of the dream to the butler and to the baker. Right? And he's talking to the one who gave the interpretation that you're going to live. So when things go well with you, show me kindness. Show me some cane. Show me some hospitality. Show me some beauty. Show me some grace. Please. And mention me to Pharaoh so that he will release me from this prison. Peep that. Check that out. So that he will release me. He will release me from this prison. If you notice, I put that word all up here again. I want you to recognize what is going on here. What he doesn't want anymore, he doesn't want the yoke on his neck. So what he's going to do, he's going to ask a man to take it off of his neck. He's going to ask somebody he thinks has more power than anyone else on the earth at that time for him. He literally thinks it's Pharaoh that has the decision to either let him go or to keep him in. And that's where we make our mistake. We got it mixed up, everybody. You understand? There won't be any release. You understand? Unless Yahweh releases us. You should never look to a man or a woman or anybody to release you. Again, our word all, this is another one of our words we went over today. The yoke, to see the authority, to recognize. Okay? So listen what it's saying. This is what Yah is telling us. I don't want you just to see the authority, the work that I have that I'm doing, because I told the world to praise me for it. I'm asking you to praise me for it. Why? Because you don't understand the work that I'm doing in your life. I'm the author of all that is going on with you. That's what makes me the authority. It's because I'm the author of it. I'm the originator of your circumstances. I want you to recognize, bring it in awareness, and to remain in a constant state that this is your existence, that I do exist. I asked the Most High this morning, or not this morning, actually yesterday. I said, Yah, is there anything I'm doing against you? Am I sinning against you? What is my sin? Show it to me. Show it to me. I want to see it. Whatever it is. Because I don't do really anything, right? I'm thinking I'm good. You know, I'm like Joseph. I don't do nothing. You know, I don't watch inappropriate stuff. I don't talk a certain way. I don't do certain things. I don't lie. I don't steal. I don't do any of these things. Yah, show me my sin. If I have any, Yah, show me something about me, and I'm going to share it with you. Yah, let me know this morning. I don't have any tears left to cry because I cried so hard this morning because I really saw what my sin was. Yah showed me my sin. Okay. And I'm going to share it with you. At first, I was like, I don't think I'm going to share it. You know, I don't know if I should, but I'm going to share it. My sin is that I don't recognize Yah always in everything. And what do I mean by that? I have my own plans. I have my own plans. I see Yah when it comes to, you know, reading the Torah. I see Yah when it comes to prayer. I see Yah when it comes to doing those things. But I never truly accepted the fact Yah says, I need you to recognize the existence of me in everything. Even in your difficulty and in your pain, I'm the cause of it. And you have ignored that. You've looked at your life and you thought that these things were just happenstance or different things happened to you. And you thought that, you know, I'm supposed to come and you know, you need to pray through it and ask for help while you're going through it. But you didn't understand that I'm the author of it. Your sin is the inability to see my authorship in your life. That goes from the time that you were born to the time that you are now. That goes to everything that's going on with you, whether it's a pain, whether it's a frustration, whether it's a disappointment. You haven't seen and you haven't acknowledged that I'm the one who did it to you. You want to blame your father. You want to blame your mother. You want to blame your former employees. You want to blame your health. You want to blame you know, evil people. You want to blame everyone else. And when you do that, you're not recognizing that I'm the self-existing one. I'm the one who's authored everything in your life. I'm the one. And I need you, that's why I'm saying that we need to acknowledge Yah in all of our ways. Acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. I thought by the things that I'm doing that I'm being a pleasing servant to Yah because I'm doing what he's asking me to do. But I'm still in my own little way trying to take credit for the things that I have done. Like, you know, some of the successes I've had, some of the, you know, opportunities that I've made myself available to. Yah's telling me you can't take any credit for it. Whether you're rich or you're poor, that's my credit. Whether you're sick or you're whole, I get the credit. Yah's not sharing his glory with me on anything. That's my sin. I still want to hold on to the idea of me being able to accomplish something. You see, or, you know, or me being this way or this. No, I'm everything that I am because Yah made me this way. You are who you are because Yah has made you that way. He didn't choose you out of your family because you were so much more righteous than them. No, he didn't. He chose you because he wanted you. He wanted you to be his treasure. See, when we think that he chose us for some good of ourselves, then we don't believe that we need to go through the refinement process. And when we get into the refinement, we want to blame other people and say they're the one who threw me in the fire. No, Yah's the one who put you in the fire. And this is the reason why we need to ask Yah to help us against our enemies, because human help is worthless. Okay. Yosef was looking for a human being to help him. Okay. I have business associates that are millionaires, and I got all kinds of things planned out, and you know, we got business situations going on, and I'm waiting for them to do what they say they're going to do. I'm waiting for them. And then so I can go back and say, look, I was smart. I was wise. No. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore because I need to understand the human help is worthless. Okay. It's worthless. And also too, there's something associated with the human help. This is what Yahweh says. And this is for all of us. A curse on the person who trusts in humans. I need you to hear that. A curse upon or on a person. I got our word all up here, is because this is what's upon you. On. Yah is going to put a yoke of a curse on a person who puts their trust in human beings. Do you know after Joseph had asked that man to remember him, the Yah kept him in prison for 2 more years? And the man forgot. The man never mentioned, the man forgot about Joseph. He forgot about Joseph. Yah is letting us know that if you put your trust in a human being and you're expecting somebody to deliver you so they can take credit for your deliverance, now you've stolen glory from me. I'm going to keep you in prison even that much longer until you recognize and until you acknowledge my existence. Okay. So Yah is saying anyone who relies on merely human strength, meaning even in their wealth, or not, I'm talking about physical, I'm talking about their strength and power to do the things that they say they're going to do. He says, whose heart turns from Yahweh. When you move your mind away from Yahweh because you're not acknowledging Yahweh in all your ways, and you're moving your mind from him, you're turning your mind from Yah and you're turning it towards a human being. You're looking for a human being to give you your joy, like they are this coming couple of weeks to get the joyous season for Christmas. You're looking for a human being to give you joy. You're looking for them to give you wealth. You're looking for them to give you happiness. You're looking for them to give you safety. They're looking for them to give you understanding and wisdom and all these other sorts of things that you really think that you are going to get from them, and they're going to disappoint you. That's the yoke that Yah's going to put on you. You're going to be cursed. Okay? And I speak from my own experience. Because I know the Yah exists. Then they will know. This is something that was given in the book of not Ezekiel. Yeah, Ezekiel, chapter number 34. He says, then they will know that I am Yahweh. What? When I break the bars of their yoke. Okay. So he's saying that you won't have any knowledge about me until I break this off of you. Okay. You will know that I am Yahweh. Well, because the yoke that's on you is the one that he put upon you. I put this upon you. I did it. And until you acknowledge that I exist, I'm going to keep that yoke there. I'm looking for you to say that I am. I'm looking for you to say Eye Asher Eye. That's what I'm looking for you to say, Eye. You need to say that he is Elohim. You need to say he's the one who put this yoke on you. You need to say he's the one who did this to you. You need to say that he's the one responsible for this. You need to say these things. And look, he says, then I'm going to rescue you from their power, right? Of those who turn them into slaves. See, going in our connection with our Torah portion, he was turned into a slave. He had a yoke put upon his neck, and it was Yah who did it. And Yah is saying is you are going to know that I'm the one who did it. You're going to know. You're going to finally get it and understand that it's Yah who's done these things to you. So whatever it is that you're going through in your life, don't think that Yah's outside of it. He's part of it. He's the author of it. And here's something else. On that day, this is in Jeremiah chapter number 30. On that day, there's a day coming, says Yahweh Zavaoth, I will break his yoke from off your neck. See? And snap your chains. See, which was on, what's his name? On Yosef. Foreigners will no longer enslave him. Instead, they will serve Yahweh, their Elohim, and die with their king, whom I will raise up for them. Yah's the one's breaking the yoke. We would say, blessed are Elohim. This is what we need to tell the peoples. After Yah releases us, this is what we're going to say. You shouldn't be asking anyone to bless Yahweh right now. Not the peoples. Remember, it's about talking about the deeds of Yahweh, right? So this here in the Torah, in the Psalms is talking about blessing Yah, bless our Elohim. This is Israel talking to the peoples. Bless our Elohim. He's ours. Let the sound of his praise be heard. He preserves our lives. And he keeps our feet from stumbling. For you, Elohim, have examined us You refined us as silver is refined. That's how we are existing right now. This is your existence. We are going through a process of examination. Even after you've been in the fire and you've been here for a while and you've been cooking and Yah says, okay, I poured you out, but now you got to go back in again because I still see some things that need to come off of you. And you're like, oh no, I got to go into it again. If you notice some things that happen in your life and then all of a sudden things would go good. And then all of a sudden again, is you're back into the fire again. And that's going to be the process because remember, Yah's word is purified 7 times. This is in existence too. This is a Hayah. That a third part I will bring through the fire. I will refine them as silver is refined. I will test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name and I will answer them. I will say, this is my people. And they will say, Yahweh is my Elohim. That is the purpose of the refinement. Because finally, after we burn everything off, you're going to say, Yahweh is my Elohim. I'm going to say, you're my people after you become like gold, after I see no impurities in you. That's when I'm going to say that you're my people. Because you want me to accept you with your impurities, but you don't want to go through the fire. You don't want to go through the refinement. But that's not going to happen. Why? Because I'm the master. I'm the goldsmith. I wouldn't be the goldsmith I am if I would allow you to tell me how much fire, how many times you should go in. You and I don't have that right. You can't tell Yah what you're deserving of and what you don't supposed to go through. Whatever you're going to get is what you're going to get. Yah will use whatever he has to get us to the point where we're refined. And no one, I say all this because I want you to understand something. No one on this earth has a right to tell you how many processes and how many times you should go through this fire. No one on this earth can literally tell you that you're okay. And there's no need for improvement. There's no one here that can actually say to Yah on your behalf that I believe they're acceptable. No one. This is the reason why you shouldn't put your trust in a man, because if it was left up to me, I wouldn't want to go through the fire no more. I would rather still be I'm just being honest. It's not until I asked Yah what was my sin that I found out what it was. It wasn't until I said, okay, I think I'm being prideful. What is it? Yah shows me what it is. So guess what? I understand now. I got to go back through the fire. And I have to understand that Yah is going to put me through it as many times as is needed to get whatever it needs to get off me. You understand? So that's what it is. And that's what you and I have to be willing to go through if you want to be a treasure. Those who feared Yahweh spoke together, and Yahweh listened, and he heard. A record scroll, meaning a book of remembrance, was written in his presence for those who feared Yahweh, and who have respect for his name. Yah says they will be mine. Who's going to be mine? Those who fear him. He says, Yahweh Zavaoth, on the day, again, we're going back to a day when I compose my own special treasure. So there's still an additional fire that you and I have to go through. I will spare them as a man spares his own son who serves him. Okay. The sparing here is not that you're not going to go through the fire. The sparing is I'm going to throw you in the fire. And then once I see that you're purified, I'm going to take you out the fire. I'm not going to leave you in the fire. I'm not going to completely destroy you. When Yah showed up on Mount Sinai, it was fire. When Yah's talking about coming back, it's going to be in fire. We have to go through an additional stage of this fire, the great ultimate fire. And with that, I say Shabbat Shalom to you. You have any questions, contributions, comments? Other than that, I'd like to get started on our cahoots. Praise be to the mighty Yah. So Rivqua put together a little cahoots for us. Uh-oh. I think I'm on time. Yeah, praise Yah. Let's get started here. Click out, exit. Okay, and then click, and then start. You can start recording, Lucas. Thank you.